Hi, springtime has arrived in central Illinois. It is now time for fun in the sun and getting dirt between your toes and getting a garden started. Have no fear if you have never had a garden. Today is your lucky day. I am going to go over how to start a garden, from planning it, what kind of garden it will be, laying it out, and will it be a square garden or a vertical garden, and finally what kind of tools you will need to maintain the garden. To start your garden, you will have to till it. The first question is using ground power versus hand tools. Next is, will seed be used or will starters be used? Then, how to control small animals. And last but not least, cultivating your garden, from watering to weeding, and finally harvesting the bounty from the earth. In addition, a garden can be a healthy endeavor according to the CDC. 2.5 hours a week working in a garden can help reduce obesity, lower blood pressure, help curb type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, heart disease, stroke, depression, and a host of other medical issues that can be reduced with exercise. So let's jump into it. The first question that must be addressed is, what kind of garden is going to be planted? Is it going to be a veggie garden overflowing with tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and watermelons? Or is it going to be a garden of fresh herbs like rosemary, thyme, mint, and any other variety that are available? Or is it going to be an array of colorful flowers such as morning glories, tulips, or any that are desirable? And then there is my favorite, which is a combination of all three. After deciding what kind of garden to do, the next step is to decide where to place it. Ideally, the garden should be placed where it will get full sunlight for most of the day and a ready access to water. Now, if space is available, go with a square foot garden, which in essence is a squared off area. It can range in size from 2 feet by 2 feet, or 100 feet by 100 feet, or larger. If space is limited, go with a vertical garden by using trellises to grow vines that will go up instead of out. At this point, it is time to start thinking about the tools that will be needed. The basic hand tools needed will be a garden rake, a shovel, a hoe, and a pair of working gloves like these right here. These happen to be male, but you can also find them in a variety of flowers and for women. And then here is a couple of different style of rakes that you can choose, and a shovel, of course, and then this is your hoe here with the flat head on it. Now it's time to play in the dirt and till the ground. Sedgate defines tilling as turning the sod over, which mixes the organic matter from the grass into the soil, producing the base for a ready-to-plant garden and bed. Tilling with a shovel can be quite a chore. I would not recommend tilling in that manner any larger area than 4 foot by 4 foot. For larger areas, save the backache and rent a tiller. Most garden centers will rent them by the hour. Our ground has been tilled, and now it is time to decide if seed starters are the way to go. Some plants require that they are started by seed, such as lettuce, carrots, beets, and radishes. Other veggie plants can be bought already started from seed that can be anywhere from 2 to 8 inches in height and at the time of purchase. Generally, these are going to be tomato plants, pepper plants, watermelons, and herbs are also available as starters. Starters can be found at most garden centers. Small animals like rabbits and squirrels can wreak havoc in a garden. A good idea is to use chicken wire to fence off the garden. This will not stop them, but will help them. Nature can also help. Rabbits hate marigolds, so plant them to keep the rabbits away. Now that starters and seeds are in the ground, it is time to start a watering cycle. The best time to water is in the evening time. It allows the water to soak into the ground without the sun drying it all up. To save on the water bill, try collecting rain water by placing a barrel under a spout from the gutter. And presto, free water when it rains. Which, with all the water and sun the garden is getting, other plants not wanted will start to grow alongside the ones that you want to grow. There are 2 ways to handle weeds. One is to pull them by hand, and the other is to use pesticides. I use no pesticides in my garden, so if you must use them, I recommend organic. They're a little more pricey, but there's no toxins. The reward for all the hard work is a bounty of fresh fruits and vegetables. The time to harvest will vary on what has been planted. For example, radishes take about 35 days from seed to harvesting, where tomatoes take about 3 to 4 months before harvesting. What you should do with all the fresh produce? Well, whatever you want. Eat it, sell it, give it away. In conclusion, we have went over the basics of starting a garden, from planting it to starting and finally cultivating it. And all that is left is putting it to practice. So go have some fun in the sun and get some dirt between your toes. Thank you.